What's up, guys, and welcome to today's show. Sorry it's been a bit of a gap from the last video. I was away in Scotland this weekend. Me and two of my best mates, we met up in Glasgow, went to my mate's village, and we just had a little lads weekend from Friday, came back on Sunday. So yeah, that's why I've not been around making content the last couple of days. But from an Arsenal perspective, there's been nothing much going on. The lads are in Dubai, getting rewarded for losing, getting rewarded for failure by going to Dubai in the sun and having a training camp, more like a holiday. So what I'm going to cover today is I'm going to cover basically the FA Cup, more specifically Aston Villa versus Spurs. I know that Plymouth beat Liverpool. Big shout out to Plymouth. But listen, Liverpool, it was a much changed team. Plymouth were at home. Liverpool missed a whole host of chances. If they played that game another 10 times, Liverpool win that game. And, you know, in the FA Cup, we're always due a shock. So I want to focus more on the Aston Villa versus Tottenham game. Villa winning that game 2-1. 2-1. Actually, it is... it's a very generous score because it could have been 4 or 5. Villa were completely dominant, especially in the first half. Postecoglu made some changes, bringing on Basuma to shore up the midfield, to try and get some control in the midfield. But by that time, the game was gone. Aston Villa scored early with Rodgers in the first minute, and then they managed to get they managed to get a second goal. Who scored the second goal? I know it was a good assist. Who got the second goal? I can't remember. Oh, so Ramsey scored the first and Rodgers scored the second in the 64th minute, and then Tell getting a consolation goal in the 90th minute, but the game was done by that point. And again, listen, it was a pretty good team. Listen, I know about the injuries for Spurs, but it was a pretty good team. You had Kinski, Porro, Gray, Spence, you had Bentancur, Kulusevski, Tell, Moore, Son, and, you know, it was a pretty strong team. Villa, again, a strong team. Martinez, Garcia, Konsa, Kamara, who's a defensive midfielder, but he's been helping Emery playing that in centre-back because of their centre-back injury woes. Digne, McGinn and Tielemans in midfield with Rodgers and Bailey, Ramsey and Marlon up front. I was really impressed with Marlon. He looks a handful. He's really, really, really quick. And he looks a handful. From a Villa point of view, I don't think they really got out of first gear. They were playing with Spurs. You know, they looked confident. They were at home. That home crowd, fantastic support from the Villa crowd behind them. And they were completely in control. It could have been more. It should have been more than 2. We're looking at a 4-5. Really, they should have scored. From Tottenham's point of view, same old. So poor. I mean, and the reason I want to talk about Tottenham is because, again, all the media and the pundits, for some reason, I don't know why. I don't know what it is about this manager they like, but they just, the injuries, every excuse under the sun. He is just so bad. He's such a poor manager. The players are trying to play to his instructions, and then he makes some changes. He brings Basuma on in midfield to try and get some control in the midfield, because he lost the midfield battle atrociously to Villa. But he's just such an awful manager. He is, I think I was hearing something this morning that he has the lowest win percentage out of any Spurs manager in the Premier League era. He is the worst manager he's the worst Spurs manager in the Premier League era. I would even go as far to say that he is the worst Spurs manager in their history. He's the worst manager in the Premier League. He is atrocious. He's so bad. He can't even look an interviewer in the eye when he's having an interview. He's so rude. He's always making excuses. Yesterday, he's covering for the players. Well, I guess he has to. So he doesn't lose the dressing room. It's if he hasn't already lost the dressing room already. But he's saying, oh, you can't judge the players. They're trying their best. You're in a relegation scrap. You're out of 2 cups in a week. You've only got the Europa League to play for, and there's no chance that they're going to win that. Not with this manager. He is awful. And I just don't understand why Sky Sports, TalkSport, ESPN, most of the Spurs fan base are not calling out this manager. Why is he not being held to account? Why are there so many excuses for this manager? Why do they feel sorry for this manager? You didn't feel sorry for Ten Hag when he was being bullied every week and hounded, even though he won 2 trophies with Manchester United. You didn't feel sorry for Emery when he was being hounded, being mocked for his accent when he was at Arsenal, being hounded out the club. You don't feel sorry for other managers, winning managers. But for this manager, who's done nothing, who is awful, you feel sorry for him. I just don't understand it. I don't understand the narrative. I don't understand the motivation. Why are they protecting this manager? Treat everyone the same. Everyone should have equal treatment. He needs to be scrutinised. The same way you completely mullered Ten Hag, Emery when he was at Arsenal, other managers. He needs to be scrutinised for he is so shit. Like, I just don't understand. Even some of my Spurs mates, Rob, he keeps defending this manager, saying that Gross was a worse manager. No, he wasn't. Gross had the worst team. He had a worse team. This is actually a good team that he's got. He's been backed. And you keep defending him. He's completely out of his depth. And only a couple of people, O'Hara and other pundits, are calling it out. Majestic came out and TalkSport. He's calling it out. And they're in a minority. Some other Spurs fans are calling out their turn, but they're in a minority. Most of the Spurs fans are behind this idiot. He's so bad and he's rude. The way he speaks to the media, he's so rude. I mean, as a neutral, I'm even getting wound up about it because I'm not just here to talk about Arsenal. I'm here to talk about football. And as a football man and as a football community, he is absolutely shocking. And I can't understand why the narrative is so behind protecting this manager and making excuses for this manager. The excuse mentality. No wonder Spurs don't win anything. You had fantastic managers. You had Nuno. You had Jose. You had Conte. And the Spurs fans actually hounded out these managers. They were complaining about these managers, whether it be the personality of these managers, whether it be the high demands of these managers, whether it be, I think it was the style of play. You Spurs fans and the media, you hounded out better managers who were in better positions than this guy who has had an awful season, whose other managers have been sacked for less, and the Spurs fan base hounded these managers out, but you're keeping this guy in. I can't get my head around it. From a neutral looking on, it's absolutely crazy. It's crazy to me how this manager is still in a job, still being protected, all the excuses. Can you not see that he is completely out of his depth? What he did in Scotland does not translate to the Premier League. If he made Hibernian or Kilmarnock or Hearts or even Rangers win the league to take away Celtic's dominance, I would say, okay, maybe this guy knows what he's doing. But he won the league with Celtic, the Ultimate Farmers League, in completely dominant. Even Rangers can't touch Celtic anymore. And the other teams are levels below. It doesn't translate. He's crap. He was it was Tottenham's 5th choice. He wasn't even their first choice appointment. I called it out as soon as he was appointed. The video's there. I've got the receipts. That he is awful. He is awful. And it's clear, but yet the main sports media, the pundits. I mean, I was listening to Joe Hart talking absolute garbage. And I know Joe had him as a manager at Celtic, but he was talking crap. He's not listen, I want to make this clear. Ange Postecoglu is not a good manager. Ange Postecoglu is the worst manager currently in the Premier League. Ange Postecoglu is Spurs' worst manager in the Premier League era with the lowest win percentage. Ange Postecoglu is the worst manager in Spurs history. And as an Arsenal fan, this is funny to me. But like I said, I can't stand certain narratives of pundits and sports media and just deluded fan bases and deluded fans. He is shit and he's on borrowed time. He's on borrowed time. It's only a matter of time. When you get knocked out of the Europa League, I don't even know if they're going to sack him then. They're probably going to give him, make more excuses. Oh, it's Levy's fault. Oh, he needs more players, more backing. Oh, awful. Tell did score though, and Tell did look good when he came on. But he must be thinking, what's going on here? He doesn't want to be there past the loan. He doesn't want to be there past the loan. But listen, enough about that. Villa, fantastic. Emery, fantastic. Look, I mean, you look at the players that he brought on. He's bringing on Marco Asensio, a 3-time Champions League winner. He's bringing on Marcus Rashford. And yes, I know they're loans. But you know what? You have to give a lot of credit to Villa. They had a fantastic transfer window. Bringing in Garcia, bringing in Marlon, bringing in Rashford and Marco Asensio. Their sporting director, I think, Mucci, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Putting out all the stops. And you could see their ambition. They're really trying to be successful, to bring silverware to Villa, who are a massive club, big club. And I think they're going to go deep in the Champions League. And I think the FA Cup's wide open now with a lot of the big teams being knocked out. Villa could, you know, they should be thinking that they can have a go at this. They should have a crack at this. You know what I mean? So, big up to Emery as well. He deserves all the plaudits that he's getting now. He deserves all the recognition that he's getting now. I've always known he was an elite manager, even when he was hounded out by the Arsenal fan base and I was stuck with a fraud. I've always known he was. So, Emery, he's doing a fantastic job. And you can see what he can do when he has the full reins. The owners at Villa, do you know, Emery, we trust you. Just, if you need money, we'll get you players if they're allowed with PSR or whatever. But they leave the day-to-day run into the club to Emery and the sporting director. And what a job they're doing. What a job that they're doing there. Fantastic. I'm over the moon. I'm over the moon for him because he's a gentleman. He's a gentleman of the sport and humble, very fantastic manager. Now we're looking at, I'm going to talk briefly about Arsenal. They're in Dubai, living it up. They didn't play, they're in Dubai because they got knocked out of the FA Cup to a 10-man Manchester United. And I've read that Martinelli's going to be out for 6 weeks. So that means our attacking options are Havertz, Ranieri, Sterling and Trossard. Oh, that's fantastic. Now you look at the business Villa did. Why couldn't Arsenal bring in Marco Asensio, a 3-time Champions League winner? Why couldn't they bring in Rashford and see if they could get a tune out of him? I can't believe. I don't know. I've been reading that Saka is ahead of schedule, so he'll be back in early March. But even with Saka, he should not be rushed back. He's done his hamstring. They should be very careful with him because you don't want a reoccurrence of that injury. So they should not be rushing back Saka. Martinelli's out for 6 weeks and our attacking options are down to bare bones. And this manager did not want to get reinforcements for whatever reason. Only he can say. and his reasons for not bringing in reinforcements are just absolutely pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. So, you know, that's my 2 cents. This is my video today. I'll be back in the week for another video, another couple of videos before I do my Premier League preview. I think Arsenal, we've got Leicester next, if my memory serves me right. Let's see if Arsenal have got next in the Premier League. So I'll do the preview. Yeah, Leicester. Arsenal have got Leicester Saturday early kickoff, but it's away. So yeah, I'll be doing my preview on that. But before then, I'll be back for another couple of videos to talk about other topics that are going on in the footballing world. So yeah, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you very soon. Peace.